let's go to the Big Ten where Trey, I guess congratulations. Your Purdue Spoilermakers did make it to Indianapolis. It was weird. They didn't really beat Indiana convincingly in the season finale, but you kind of look around the Shadow Realm and Purdue goes, you know what, guys, I'll take this one for the team. And hey, they're playing in a championship game against number two Michigan, who you could argue truly has nothing to play for in this. Saturday, Fox, 7 p.m. is when you can watch this. The Wolverines are 17-point favorites. I think the general consensus is they could lose, and while it would be a stunning loss, they would probably still be in the playoff. And so, Trey, for you, I know you believe that might take a little bit of edge off the Wolverines' bite this weekend.
100%. And question for you guys, is Purdue the most dynamic offense that Michigan has faced this year? Because
There's an argument to be made.
if not, I think they're top two.
Yeah, I'd say top two. I'd still say Ohio State.
Ohio State definitely has the more dynamic offense. I can hear the Buckeye fans already starting to type, but
Joe in Longview is going, what?
hold on, we lost, but I know we're not that bad. And you're right.
Yeah.
Ohio State is the more dynamic offense, but Purdue is going to be a little bit of a different challenge, I think, in the style of offense that they run. I think that could maybe sneak up on Michigan a little bit. And look, this time last year, Michigan just absolutely destroyed Iowa in a conference championship game where they probably had a little bit more to play for just to prove that they belonged after beating Ohio State. But yeah, I'm still going to stick with that narrative of I don't think Michigan has a lot to play for. Even if they're just a little bit cautious, even if they pull their starters just a little bit early, that's enough for me to take this huge number with Purdue.
I actually kind of go the other way. I think they got loads to play for. They're headhunting for that number one seed. I think they want it.
That's fair.
I mean, especially after last year with the whole not getting into that spot. And I know they didn't deserve it there, but, I think with the matchup being as difficult as it was and getting smoked in South Florida
Yeah.
to start their playoff run, I think they'd much rather, that situation. And now I think the committee is going to do everything they can not to put them at number one, just in the off chance that they want to sneak Ohio State in there and avoid a rematch. But at the same time, I do think that they're going to be headhunting for a number one seed. I think they want to put a lot of points on the board. I think they want to get the offense fine tuned. I think, especially after, Blake Corum sits the game out. I don't know that they send him into this game if he's still kind of banged up, but if he can go and if he can play, they might have him on a snap count just to kind of get back into game reps and get some live action. But no, I think they have plenty to play for. I think that they're playing for that zero. I think that they care about the zero. I think they care about having the undefeated season. And I think that they'll finish this one. I think it's Michigan minus 17 for me. They did smoke Iowa last year. I don't think that anybody coming out of the Shadow Realm this year is going to be remotely competitive in this game. And I wouldn't pick Purdue to be, competitive in this game either. I think there's too much for Michigan. I think that there's just lots of energy around the team, lots of excitement. You also have to admit, like, the momentum coming off that Ohio State win, that's got to be contagious. That locker room is absolutely feeling themselves, and so I think that they're going to roll into this one with a lot of swag and a lot of sort of I believe in myself, and it feels good to be a Michigan Wolverine. So I'm taking Michigan minus 17 in this one.
I just wonder with both of these games, with Georgia and Michigan, and Georgia experienced this firsthand last year, where they lost the conference championship game and then went on to win the national championship game. And I think a little bit of a different situation because Georgia knew they were playing a team that they would probably face again in the playoff. And that probably went into, how they were going to game plan and how they were going to scheme for that first matchup in Atlanta. But yeah, we talk about sandbagging. That was probably a little bit of intentional sandbagging when you know it's going to be the same opponent. But I don't know. Like, I just wonder how much of that is creeping into the minds of these coaches given the dynamic that we have this year, where there is a clear, at least top three. And those three, in my mind, I think they should be safe. And I think in all practicality, they shouldn't be penalized for playing this week, even if they lose, for teams that didn't even make it to this week. So I don't know. I just wonder how much of that of last year is sitting in these coaches' minds because we saw a team come out flat and lose the conference championship game and then go on to win the whole thing. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, you think back to a couple years ago when Notre Dame got slaughtered in the ACC championship game, right? In the COVID year when they played in the conference for one season, they got run off the field. Absolutely embarrassed. Shout out Brian Kelly again. just not showing up in the brightest moment. And they still got let in. They got rewarded. To your point, they got rewarded for making it to the conference championship game and not punished for losing that week, even though they got embarrassed. And then guess what? They got embarrassed by Alabama, right? So I think that those teams, those three teams, Georgia, Michigan, and TCU, just to reset, are indeed safe. I'm going to take Michigan minus 17 because of two things. One, Purdue's defense stinks. Their pass defense is abysmal. And what did Michigan do last week? They threw the ball deep. Look, JJ McCarthy, I think he only completed half of his passes. I think he was
Mhm.
12 of 24.
Yep.
Michigan had 4 plays over 40 yards. 3 of them went for 60 plus. 2 of them were those long touchdown passes, and then Donovan Edwards had that long touchdown run. This Michigan offense is explosive, and the best part of it isn't throwing downfield, but when your guy is, I mean, just completely wide open down the field, hey, even JJ McCarthy can make those throws. So Purdue's defense, pass defense, is so bad. Plus, Purdue can't run the football. So I think you're going to have a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of quick possessions for Purdue, and a lot of chances for Michigan to score. To me, even if they remove starters late in the game, I don't know that Purdue is good enough to keep it within a 17-point margin. So I'm going to take the Wolverines, looking for that number 1 seed. This again to me feels like their year, right? This is the closest that they've been to truly competing for a national championship since Charles Woodson was playing for Rose Bowls, right? So
Yeah.
I think they want to go out and make a statement again this week to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, and to the point on sandbagging, I don't think they're pulling out all the stops in this one. Like, I don't think they're going to be running trick plays, and you're going to see, McCarthy streaking down the field on a Philly special type of thing. I just kind of have a feeling they're going to come out there with the mindset of we need to make a statement. I think the defense plays hard. It wouldn't shock me to look up and they held them under 10 points. It really wouldn't shock me. That defense is extremely good. They held Ohio State to 23, and that looked like a bad 23. That was like all in the first half. And so I think if that kind of effort comes out, that kind of energy comes out for Michigan, I wouldn't be shocked to watch this one become a rout really quickly. Just because, I do think that they want to come out here and make a statement and fight for that number 1 seed.
Gracious, how about